Hey, everybody. So it has been a little bit, but I am back from my dark retreat and ready to Tao with you. This is Tao of the Day. I am your host, Martin John, and I would love to introduce you to the Tao. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and it is presumably written by a man, Lao Tzu, and it translates to the canon of reason. Now, the Tao is a book that helped me throughout my recovery and throughout so many things that I do in my life, and I want to share the Tao with you. So, if you have a number between 1 and 81, why 81? Because there are 81 verses in the Tao that you would like if you have a number burning a hole in your soul at this moment that you want to share, I would love to read you your Tao for today. The Tao often offers us just a glimpse into something that we are experiencing, in a way of getting through it with reason, and a way of getting through it without being overly emotionally invested in the outcome of things, and to be able to look at things as they are, rather as we think they are or as we presume them to be. We are prediction machines, and so we're constantly going out into the world making predictions about what is going to happen, what is about to take place. How am I going to exist through this, or how am I going to deal with this thing that's just happened? And it's very hard for us to get to see what is really going on, and we often make incorrect predictions about things because we're emotionally invested. And when we can step back and take some look, I got a guest. So great, Allison. Oh, Allison, it's been so long since we've chatted up on here. I'm so glad to see you. How are you doing, my dear?
Oh,
Hey,
hi.
hey, how's it going?
Good. You have a good trip?
Yes, I did. It was challenging and good, and lots of things happened, and I will we'll get into that at some point. Like, well,
Oh,
yeah, there was some harrowing experiences, and some things that made me, like, really, that, really tested my resolve, let's say.
oh, I can't wait to hear all about it.
Yeah. It was a really wonderful experience, and there's a really wonderful arc of, like, this is a waste of time. This is deadly. This is amazing.
That's why I want to hear about it. I'm sure you were like all over the place.
Yeah, it was great, and it was also great to be completely offline, away from Wi-Fi. Like, for the entirety of my trip, for the most part. And the dark retreat aspect, of course, that was dark, and it was totally separate, and it really put things into stark perspective, and I'm interested to explore that on here. But here we are doing Tao, so I would love to get a number and see how my dark retreat kind of helps, and helps me communicate,
Yeah.
and helps me continue to offer the Tao.
So here's what I want to do. You pick one number. I'm going to pick a number. Together they make the number we pick.
All right, 7.
Five.
All right, 7557. Which one?
I don't know.
I
Talk.
said seven first. We're going seven first.
Okay.
When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. That's interesting.
Trying to weave it in. I'm trying to weave it into my
Yep,
life.
yep, yeah. Okay, so for me, just on an initial, because this is so short, we can dive into some things here. Um, when taxes are too high, people go hungry, and I'm gonna take that into the abstract. And taxes, of course, being like, you tax your system, right? We are, and in my parlance, we live under the influence, and the more influence you live under, um, the more hungry you get for yourself. the more hungry you want to, the more you want to indulge in that which is substantial to you. That's that which has substance to you, and that's what we're hungry for. And I think today in the world, we live under such influence of things external to us that we are all so very hungry. And when we get hungry, we get angry,
You big
and
hangry.
we get hangry, right? And everybody right now is running around very hangry because they want to touch themselves. Not, like, not physically. I mean, maybe, but but that's just another tax. That's just another living under the influence. So that's the thing that pops out to me, just on an initial here.
Yeah, I mean, taxed, I also think of that as like the physical tax. I'm taxed physically, mentally, emotionally. Like to me,
Yeah.
it means it's very similar in that it's like when people are taxed, meaning they're stressed, they're out of alignment, they go hungry. We're looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yes.
Love is in alignment with ourselves. It is a non-resistant state. Um, and it's physically taxing to be out of alignment, which I'm sure, in your retreat, you were like in, out. Oh shit. Oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
here we are. I'm good. I'm not. I'm good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what it means to me.
Yeah. And then people go hungry for that. People go hungry for that thing that they're, the tax. It's so taxing to be out of alignment. And you're going hungry for that alignment. You're going hungry for that simplicity of being.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when most of my youth, when I was thinking, I used to imagine that I had a hole in my core and that it was just unfillable. Like nothing I ever did could fill that sadness, could fill that void. And it wasn't until I started doing literal personal development of my person, spirithood, that I realized I was looking for accolades, love in all the wrong places. I
Yeah.
was not going to fill that void by looking to others or situations or circumstances to fill that sense of lack that I had to do it. Like that
Yeah.
I had to do it myself.
And then the next line here says, when the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit.
Okay, so this is this is interesting. The way I'm going to interpret that in this moment is
Hmm.
intrusiveness is when others say they know what is right for you.
Yes.
Because I just heard somebody saying that and I was like, okie dokie.
That, like, I hear that everywhere. It's just like, I know what's right for you, everywhere. And I know what this is. And and one of the great lines in the Tao is like, the master like, moves people, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but moves people to not know. Like, and
Yeah.
that's something that I really enjoy, like putting people in a position of, you know what? You don't know shit. Like,
Well,
shut your face.
what's interesting is our perception of knowing is based on our beliefs, our experiences, our levels of resistance or allowance to certain things. Like the perception of what we think we know is only a projection of ourselves. And so
That's
what
right.
we're extracting from the situation has nothing to do with that person, but everything to do with us. And so I just think it's so interesting when people are like, I know what is right for that person. I'm like, well, what you know is what you is
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
this is
Okay.
so funny because this morning I was on a run, and I thought of this kind of quote, like, that I kind of created in my mind, which was, if you think you can help other people, you're wrong. There are no other people.
Yes. Boom.
Right? Like,
Boom. Right there.
right? Like, and it's not that you can't help other people. You can, but there are no other people. It's just you.
Yes.
And
And the
and
only
so
way you can help them is by being in alignment and a reflection of unconditionalness. That's,
yeah.
you know, these other people that we're perceiving, these other energies that like they're a
Yeah.
reflection of us and we're a reflection of them. And so all it is to know ourselves better. That's it.
Yeah. So
That's
I
it.
really, yeah, I just like it. So just like the fact that you said that, and like that was a quote that like I might put in my email tomorrow. You know, like the yellow text things that I put on social media or whatever. That might very well be like the quote that I put out tomorrow. But it was just really so in alignment with what you had just said, because like that's so true. It's like so beautifully put. And here, like when the government is too intrusive, and really it's just like when some authority is too intrusive in your life, when you are living under the influence, once again, of some idea or that is an authority, the idea of like that Wayne Dyer is an authority.
Right.
If you turn to Brene Brown as an authority, when they are too intrusive on your life, when their authority is demeaning your ability to be you, you are going to lose your spirit. I don't care how spirit based they are. You have to realize that you are the you are the thing that is moving about here. And
Okay.
anything
This is
else.
funny because we are literally mirroring each other. Like I said something you thought of, you just said something I thought of because literally I just did an Instagram this morning on awareness. And one of the things I was talking about is this lovely woman who was bagging my groceries. And you have to watch the video to see, but we were talking about books and she's a poet and she's, she's a drop this awareness bomb on people. Have the they have the power to shift their energy and they don't think they do, and they're usually in victim mode and all this stuff. And one of my points was, are you aware that you're giving your power away to these people that that sit on a stage when the universe is telling you what you need to know in the grocery store?
That's right. That's right. In the
I
grocery
use
store.
Brene Brown as the example because I'm like, like everything is just a reflection of
Hmm.
us.
That's right.
Everything.
I feel, like I want to just say, like I'm really glad I went on this retreat because I feel more connected right now. And I'm so glad that you were the first person. Like you're the first person I'm talking to on wisdom since I was back. But
Oh,
I just
wow.
I love you, and I'm so glad that we have connected here, and I'm glad that you're here with me right now. And so
Yeah.
the last line here is act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone.
Yes. Well, I mean, the way I interpret that is act for your oh, not in a selfish way, but act for your own benefit, meaning be in alignment as much as you can. And that is the greatest benefit to anybody that you perceive in your reality is that you hope that they will reflect to themselves the state of alignment that you're in. That is the gift that we have to give.
Yeah. And and it's not like we hope that they reflect to us, but we just like, because that like if that's what we are, it will get reflected back to us. It's not about them.
Yes, but sometimes not, because sometimes when you see someone in alignment, you get mad because you're like, who do they think they are? Like,
Mm.
all happy,
Right.
all
Yeah. Like it starts with us though. It starts with our alignment. Once we start
yes,
seeing other people in alignment, we get to relish in the fact that we are. Which
yes,
is which is just before I read this line, I kind of appreciated you and I being here at this moment. And that was really me just kind of being like, I'm so glad I went on that retreat, because means I can connect so much deeper. Whether you can is inconsequential to my experience.
yes. There was a conversation I was listening to a couple days ago, and the individual had asked a question about like relationships and like the perception of the relationship, and if I perceive I'm connected to that person, do they perceive it the same? No,
No, no,
no,
not at
not.
all. Not at all.
Not at all. It
That's
depends
so
on what is relevant for the individual in that experience to perceive.
yes. And that's what this last line I kind of think can contribute it to. Act for the people's benefit. And the people is really us. Act for our benefit. We trust ourselves, but then we also leave them alone. We leave us as the other alone. We allow them to have their experience. We don't have to inject ourselves on their experience and inject our experience onto what they're experiencing.
Yeah, agency.
That's
Everyone
right.
has their own agency, and that is why we perceive ourselves as is what we do at the moment, is to discover our own agency, for sure.
Yeah, and mutuality, right? I can be
Mhm.
here, and I can allow you to be here as you are, without me injecting all of my baggage onto that experience.
Yes. Also, too, like I had an experience recently that was related to the autonomy within a relationship and the reflection that each person gets, and
Yeah.
that I grew from that reflection in a way that that distinguished between guilt and responsibility, meaning response ability, the ability to respond,
Right.
versus being in a state of guilt. And then that was my takeaway, was distinguishing the two and understanding the two, not hanging on to one, but being able to respond from a place of alignment. That person had to take whatever they took from it. Like,
That's
nothing I could do about that.
yeah. Well, that's gonna come up directly when I start talking about my dark retreat. So like that thing, like, and it's like, yeah, there's an experience in my dark retreat
Oh,
that
wow.
I had to that I had to realize was my experience, and
Mm.
had nothing to do with what was with anything else. It was all about me, and it was really beautiful. Um,
Are you writing at all about this? Are you blogging about it?
I haven't written anything yet. I am planning. I probably today I'm going to sit down and write an extensive. So the Tao talks about this concept of, like, you can't know it, but you can know what it looks like. And so
Yeah.
I can kind of write out a travel log sort of thing that just kind of tells what happened, and then I could inject some things in terms of, like, what I believe those meant to me at the time, and what they meant to me now. So I am doing a little bit of that, or I'm planning on that. And I wrote notes while I was in there and stuff, so I can return to those just to kind of get that timeline down. But actually, as I look at it, the timeline starts well before I went into the retreat, and it's probably going to be continuing as I exist now here back in Chicago and stuff.
I
So
would love to hear you read that as a monologue on a wisdom.
yeah, that'll probably happen. And it may actually just be a thing I do on wisdom. I was thinking about just kind of like doing it as that, and being like, this is what happened, and then people can talk to me about the ins and outs and the insights and stuff at some other point.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Oh, love you. Thank you so
Love
much for
you.
joining. Okay, so I do have four people in line, just so everybody knows. Lois is next, then Julie, Energy Lady, and Namaste City. I would love to get to everybody, and I will definitely get to each and every one of you if you can stick around. I know where you are in line, so definitely, if you need to step out and come back in, you will save your space. Oh my God, Lois, love you.
Hey, my brother.
How you doing, girl?
I can imagine what you were going through because some of it I was going you know what? You know me. I tap into people
Mm-hmm.
and I know there was a part in that dark retreat where you thought you was finna go crazy.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
But
there was a moment I had to regroup. Yeah, there was a moment I
okay,
had to.
because I and I when we talk off, we're gonna talk off after because I want to talk about it because I wanted to find out what day it was
Okay,
because
okay.
I know what day I felt it when I was thinking about you. But at
Yeah,
any rate,
yeah.
I got
Let me look at my calendar real quick. And I can tell you what day it was. It was. Let's see. I went in. Did I go in? Oh, I gotta look at my other calendar because I gotta
well,
figure out
okay.
exactly
The
what
thing
day I
is,
went in.
I felt it when you were going into day three. Okay,
No, good. That was
in
exactly
day
when it
three.
happened. So,
Okay, I
yes,
don't have
it
to know
was.
your count. I'm telling you when because God said just tell them day three. Just tell them
Yep,
day three.
yep,
And
yep.
I'm telling
Day three.
you, you felt like
It
you was
was.
gonna lose your fucking mind and wonder what the hell you go in there for and
It
what
was
is this?
between.
Can you last the rest of the time and all that kind of shit.
Well, actually, it was between 1 a.m. and 10 a.m. on day three.
No. So
So
yeah.
yeah,
So that's why
yeah,
I said we need to talk. I don't want to do all this on
yeah.
here because
No, no, I get you,
this
because
is
this
not
is Tao
the
of the
stage
day.
for it.
We gotta
Yes.
respect the medium. So,
And I didn't have a number, but whew, let me
so yeah.
let's
Why don't you? Give me the number.
Let's do what you just did with oh shoot, I can't even think of what I just saw.
Allison.
With Allison, yeah, let's do what you just did with Allison. I say 7.
You say 7, I say 1. We're going to go 71 because you picked yours first. So we're going to
Okay.
go 71. If you know what you don't know, you're doing great. If you don't know what you don't know, you're sick. The only way to get rid of the sickness is to be sick of it. The masters aren't sick because they got sick of being sick.
Whew. That's the
You
whole
know,
thing.
that's the whole thing.
It,
That's right up our alley, girl.
it is definitely is up the alley. So
Yeah.
let's start. I want to hear read it one more time in its entirety because I heard something to group to with another line to group with that to explain it.
Yeah. If you know what you don't know, you're doing great. If you don't know what you don't know, you're sick. The only
Okay.
way to
Okay.
get
Stop.
rid of
Stop.
that
Stop. Stop.
sickness.
Okay. That's where it is. That's where I want you to stop.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay. If you know what you don't know, you're doing great. If you know don't know what you don't know, okay, that's subconscious stuff that has to come up within us. That when I talk about ghost riders and phantoms and other people talk about shadow self and all that kind of stuff because that stuff we don't even know that stuff is in there. And
Yeah.
when you know that stuff is in there, you get sick because a lot of the diseases that were in my body is because I had trapped emotions in certain places, and most of that, a lot of it, I found out a lot of it wasn't even mine. I was picking up everybody's shit and piling it on mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and I didn't realize it because I knew what I'd healed from. I knew what I had went through. I knew, you know what I'm saying? So those are the things I actively worked on. The abuse and all the craziness in the family and stuff. I worked on that. But this other stuff was what made me sick because I was preaching. It was last sermon I preached at the church I was on the minister board at. Okay. And I preached about, oh my God. The skyscraper, how you build a skyscraper and how you got to dig down so far before you can build up as high and you would have to go down before you go up. And a prophetess, and that's what she called herself, build herself as, came over to me and she says, "You've been sick." And now I never knew this lady because she ain't never knew me because I had just started going back to this church and she was from Florida. And we in
Okay.
Orange County, California. And she said, God came to me to tell you that you're not sick because of what you've done. You're sick for some other reason. And I'm like, huh? And
Yeah.
then when I started learning about secondary trauma, and I'm a therapist and a counselor all my
Mm-hmm.
life, and I thought about how many stories that I picked up that I did not know about that lodged themselves in me because I didn't know what to do with the information at in my youth as a counselor and all that kind of stuff. So I was very affected by all that stuff I did not know of that I had hidden in my crawl spaces and it didn't even belong to me.
Right. And I like that line. If you don't know, because it is like it's convoluted. It's a little confusing, right? If you
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know, well, of course you don't know what you don't know, right?
No.
But it is the idea that like if you're not aware that there are things you don't know, then you're
Uh-huh.
sick. Right? Like I
Yeah.
like putting it that way. If you're not aware that there are things in your life that you don't know, if you're walking around thinking that you know shit, like,
I'm sorry.
if like no, if like because the first line is here, if you know what you don't know, you're doing great. And like I want to kind of like move this what into a that. If you know that you don't know, you're doing
Uh-huh.
great. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't know that you don't know, you're sick. Right? Like just recognizing that you don't know puts
Mm-hmm.
you in a position of being able to be fluid, puts you in a
Yes.
position of being able to change, puts you in a position of being able to learn. You know, one
Yes.
of the things I learned in my dark retreat, one of the kind of like just kind of corners of the things that I kind of picked up was that, I do love to learn on my own,
Mm-hmm.
but I also have a little stubbornness from learning from others. That doesn't mean I'm not open to it, but it
Hmm.
does mean that it can get in the way. Sometimes when if someone were to approach me to teach me something, I
Hmm.
immediately close off. And so recognizing that I do that, right? If I recognize that once I start to know that I do that, I can be doing much better. I can start doing great. So if you know that you don't know, you're
Hmm.
doing great. Like if I can just be there and be present with it. If you don't know that you don't know, you're sick. And the thing is before the retreat, like even though I had the inkling of it, I did know I was a little cocky. I did know that like I don't always like learning from people and like and those things, but it really kind of taught me the experience that I had, especially the experience I had at 1 a.m. around 1 a.m. on the third day, really taught me that I can learn from things outside of myself, you know.
Yeah.
The only way to get rid of that sickness is to be sick of it. And you know, as I lie there and as I sit in the dark with nothing to do for those 9 hours, I really did get sick of I got sick of it. I got sick of being closed off to the idea that like I could learn.
Right. And and then you were saying that I all of a sudden the Johari window model came in my mind. Do you know the Johari window, right?
No.
Okay, the Johari windows says that there's a self that you know that you know. Okay. There's a self that is hidden from you but others can see.
Yeah.
There's and it goes on because like you there's a part of you that you know that you know. There's a part of you that you don't know. There's a part of you that think you know is a blind spot.
Yeah.
And then there's a part of the other is the same way. Others can see you and say that they know because they see part of you that you can't see. So
Yeah.
times
Right.
when people like you and her were talking about, oh my goodness, talking about oh you can't listen to other authority and telling you
Oh
what to
yeah.
do. And the thing is that sometimes the other can see what you can't see. It's in your blind spot,
Right.
and it moves you to freaking listen. Okay, because I've been blindsided by the fucking blind spot
Oh,
because
you
I
and me both.
okay.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to say that, but let's finish the rest of it. But I
Yeah,
just
well, the rest of it is the
came up
masters
good
aren't
with that.
the masters aren't sick because they're sick of being sick, and I think both of you have been sick of being sick of some things in our lives, and
Yes.
that's a beautiful. It is wonderful to like be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes, 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 yes. And it,
You know,
and it,
because
you don't start getting well until you
that's
get
right.
sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you're one of those people who was a know it all and think you know it all by yourself, then
Hmm.
your is way worse because as long as you think you knowing it everything and you don't have a blind spot and you don't
If you
have it
don't know that you don't
and
know, you're
you
sick.
don't know that you don't know, then you're fucking effed. Okay, I
Yeah.
mean you're just purely effed. That's why
I
it
love I want to just point out I love the fact
helps.
that you said you're fucking effed. Yeah, like it's okay to use it as an adjective, but instead like but once you start
I
using
don't use it as a. I don't like to call people names, but I will and stuff with the word with the profanity. That's what I
Yeah.
normally do.
No, I know, I
Profanity as
know, I
an
know. I
adjective.
just I
But
just like I
it's
just
funny
like
that
where
you
where you
noticed it.
decide where you decide to where you decide to to put in that censor.
That's
It's
funny.
beautiful.
I never know. See, look, you just showed me a blind spot that when I'm using profanity, I use it as adjectives, not as
That's
nouns.
right. Not as yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
beautiful.
so
Yeah.
that's funny. But anyway, I didn't see that. I didn't realize I did either.
No,
Oh,
no, no. Yeah, it was just
that was
that's
brought to
like
light.
and yeah, it's it's like I may just very well be a little more sensitive these days just because I was in the dark and like not talking to anybody and doing anything like that.
Oh
So,
yes, you're gonna be paying attention to all kind of words you saying and everything else.
oh
Because
yeah, yeah.
I was in that dark night of my soul. I didn't have to go into a cave to do it or,
Right,
or
right.
a dark room to do it. Yeah, you hear all your crazies. You hear all your bullshit. That's why I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I know he gonna." That's why I told you. You know that any point in time, if
Hmm.
you gonna pull up the put up the hand and say, "Okay, I'm done." Okay,
Yes,
because I
yes.
knew you were gonna go to that because God
and
showed
be
me, and I was
and
like, "Bam!"
on that early on that day three, you know, I was talking to somebody at the retreat as I was leaving, and they were like, you know, that really tested your resolve, that really tested your commitment to this
Yeah,
experience.
yes,
And it was a physical thing. It wasn't actually like how you described it, where it wasn't about me worrying if I could be in there. It was about actually thinking that I might die, because a physical thing had taken place. So I mean, I was clear on that after a little
hmm
while, but I laid down with that possibility, and so we'll get into
real
that.
good,
We'll get
yeah.
into that. Yeah,
But yeah,
that gets. I mean, I don't want to be too weird and vague and stuff, but
ah,
all right,
I,
I'm gonna.
that's why I said we don't have to even talk about it on app on air. I can
Yeah,
talk
yeah. Oh, we
about it
will, we will. I don't
on the
have
back.
anything to hide, but there's you know, it definitely needs the whole story. I can't just, you know, like I don't want to just like drop anything. Lois, I love you. I got a little bit of a line, so I'm gonna go
All
ahead
right,
move on
no
to
problem.
Julie. I love you. We'll be in touch soon. I may be back on the app a little later today to talk about like the experience, but we'll see how it all kind of
Well,
pans
if
out.
you're gonna talk about it, then text me or something. I'm gonna put my number in the
Yeah.
back end. I think I gave it to you already, but text
Yeah,
me and
I
let
don't
me know
know if I have it.
on a
Usually
busy day.
I would reach out right away. But yeah, but just shoot me your number on the back channel, and then we'll connect.
Okay, all right. I'll talk to you later, bro.
All right, love. Sweet day. I don't know. I was gonna say sweet dreams, but have a wonderful day. We'll
All
talk soon.
right.
All right, bringing Julie on. Julie is one of my dearest wisdomers. How are you, my dear?
I'm all right. I've got
That's
one
good.
thing to
Oh,
say to you. I've got one thing to say is I know my love for you. I have missed you.
oh. I have missed this app. I have missed each and every one of you so much.
Mm.
Julie,
You
I
are,
was
you are.
gonna like before, like I went out on a run today, and as I was on my run, I was thinking, you know, I'm gonna do my Tao of the day a little late today. But I wanted to shoot you a message to just let you know that I was gonna do it because I wanted to connect with you, and I actually thought about like calling you on WhatsApp as well, like so.
You can call
So
me anytime.
so
Anytime. You know
so
that.
all of that is
You are
out there.
my
When I saw you,
family.
when, when I saw you in line, I was really excited because I knew that we would connect this morning. So I'm really
Yay.
grateful.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm happy. It was a great experience that I want to make sure that, you know, I give the space to share all of
mm,
that. And
mm.
yeah, I might have to do that on a wisdom in which there are no guests, so I can get through the whole
Yes.
story, and then I can be like, okay, now that that exists, next day I can be like, ask me anything you want, and we can go
Yeah.
on that. And I
Yeah.
know
You
I
need it
know
as a
Bella
whole.
wants to. Bella, I know, wants to do an interview about the dark retreat, and some other people want to talk about it as well. And so I wanna
Mm,
give space to those subjects and like the idea that people want to focus on certain things about it and stuff. So,
good. Good.
but
Good.
this is Tao of the Day, and
It
you know
is.
what we do on Tao of the Day.
I do. I've got a number for you. It's number 16.
16.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, this one starts beautifully for me. Empty your
Good.
mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't
Mm,
realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you're natural you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. What a good number.
Yeah. So what line or what part of this stood out to you the most?
I like serenity in knowing the source. I
Mm.
like that. That to me is a comfort. It's a comfort. So you take that comfort with you throughout your life. You can observe. You don't have to interact with everything around you that you find difficult. Sometimes just observing it and sitting with it is great. That's where your lesson is. You can learn from that. You don't have to interact with it to a degree. You can enjoy it.
Right. You don't have to get, like emotionally invested in how something is going to turn out.
Yeah. You can just enjoy it for exactly what it is
Even if
at
that
any
even if
point.
that's even if that's painful, right? Like this is painful, but there is
Yeah.
a way to enjoy pain. There is a way to
Because
enjoy discomfort.
yeah, there is, because you can actually experience it, and that's where the
Yeah.
joy is. The fact
You
that
know,
you
we're
can
gonna
feel. Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna go through this line by line. I want to start by saying I ran 5 miles today because I'm gonna be running a
Mm,
5 mile race in a month. And um I and I walked a very, very little bit, but I had run like almost 4 miles up until that point. And then I was just like, oh, I can walk a little. Like this is my first time running. Like I was on that retreat and stuff. I didn't do any running or anything. And I came here and I was
mm,
like, all right, well, I got this 5 mile race. And and I did 5 miles and walked a little bit and stretched, and I still got it done in just over an hour. So I was just like, oh, I'm good.
perfect. Yeah.
But this first line explains, I think, how I was able to do that. One, the retreat helped me realize how to empty my mind a little more, how to not judge my speed or my body or the
Yeah.
weather or anything. Like I was in it all. Like it was
You
50
threw your
degrees out.
measuring stick away. Yeah, you
Right.
threw the measuring stick away, which is what my ultimate goal in all life, in all things, and everywhere I go is to throw the measuring stick away. I don't need
Right.
it.
And the measuring stick is simply a thought. Right? As soon
Hmm.
as you have a thought about something, whether it's good or bad or whatever, once you measure it and say this is good or this is bad or this is gonna turn out bad. Once you predict like that is going to fall on the spectrum somewhere, you're
Mm,
utilizing that measuring stick. In this first line, empty your mind of all thoughts. Like yes, that's very, very hard to do. It's impossible, but you just do it for this moment. Which means don't measure right now. Don't measure.
yeah.
Don't predict. Be here with what is right now. And then the next line is let your heart be at peace. And that's asking you to do something. It's like empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. It's not saying empty your mind of all thoughts, and when you do that you'll have peace in your heart. It's saying, I mean, it is saying that, but it's saying like, it's asking you, it's saying, would you please just let your heart be at peace?
Mm,
When you are measuring everything around you and you're measuring yourself and your body, and when you're measuring others against yourself, your heart's not at peace.
yeah.
Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace.
Feel yourself. It's like in that moment you are just feeling the essence of yourself existing, nothing else.
And other people around you can be experiencing pain and other things like that. And in your mind, you're trying to do what you do. You're trying to like inject yourself. You're measuring, like you're trying to say, oh, this is the thing that you need. But
Mm,
here, this next line states, watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Like hold them in, like your heart's at peace. So you can hold them in your heart and contemplate their return to source,
yeah.
their return from that space of turmoil.
Yeah. Yeah,
Each
they will.
separate, please,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they will return. They
They
will.
will.
That's
They
it.
always. It's always there. And the thing, like there's there. It's funny how when we look back how truncated everything is, right? Like we look back in our lives, and no matter how old you are, your past is always the same amount of time, right? It's like even if, like you live today and you think about your history, and you live tomorrow, you think about your history doesn't really add any more time to it, because it all doesn't exist in any time. It just happened. It's just a memory
Mm.
now, right? And 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 watch like contemplate their return. Like, although we're experiencing time in this way, you know, my addiction problems were 21 years ago, but when I think about them, they're happening right now,
Yeah.
in my mind.
Hmm.
And so and so it's like the return had happened, or had begun happening, over 21 years ago, and yet, like, this is why we contemplate their return, because time is this thing, it's just this concept that we get to explore.
Time is a way of understanding. It's a man-made concept, time.
Right, yeah. And like when you think back, like the only thing that's happening is you and I are talking right now. There's no dark retreat. There's no time, doing anything else. There's nothing. It's just you and I are connecting here. And like
Mm.
this is when we get to empty our mind of thoughts, because the thoughts bring up the past, bring up time, bring up all of these things. And with all of that, our heart steps away further and further from a space of being at peace.
Yeah.
Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity.
Lovely. And it is that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so immeasurable and pleasant.
It's and the common source. It is the
Mm.
source that we all connect. It is not, it is not for any, it's not for special people or not special people, or for
Mm.
people that have experienced one thing or haven't experienced. Like, it is the common source. And this
Hmm.
is contemplating their return to the common source. And that is who we are, that void underneath all that we experience.
The essence.
Yes, and if you don't realize that source or that essence, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. As I was talking with Lois, you stumble in this space of thinking you know some shit.
Mm.
If you don't
Yeah.
realize that source, like you said, like, I forgot what word you used. That essence, you stumble in
Mm.
confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king.
Beautiful.
Like, imagine being tolerant. Imagine allowing, if you're a mother. I mean, I talked to a mother while I was on my retreat, and she was having issues with her 18-year-old daughter. And like, we talked, the same way I would talk to you or anybody else, and we just talked about,
Mm.
hey, maybe that's your problem, maybe that's not hers, right? Like the idea that like there was tolerance that she wasn't experiencing, because she, the mother, the woman that I met, like, was having the problem that she believed
Yeah.
her child was actually having.
Yeah,
And
we've
then
done
when
this.
you
We've
Yep.
spoken about this before, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's
And
a
when you
nice
become
realization.
Yeah, when you become tolerant, you can be more disinterested in them doing what you have problems with.
Mm. Yep.
And that helps you become more dignified, because then you're not like right, like when you're hiding your head in the sand, or when you're freaking out over and being overly emotional, do you feel good
Yeah.
about yourself, right? Do you
Yeah,
feel like, do you feel dignified?
you've
You feel
been
like a
there.
king.
You've been there with me. You know what I feel like. I've spoken to you about it. It's like, I feel scared. I do feel scared. And it's a reaction to something that is not mine. Doesn't belong to the essence of me, that. The
Right.
essence of me is calm.
Yeah.
So why am I allowing this? Why am I not coming back to my source, our source,
Yes. And then
your
that's what this
source, well as mine?
yes. And that's what this last section talks about. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, right? Immersed in that which you are. You can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready. And this, yes, could be physical death, but it could just simply be the death of who you believe yourself to be.
Mm,
That identity that you hold on to and are so reluctant to let go of.
yeah.
So when death comes, you're ready. You're ready to allow that to fall away. You're ready to allow that concept of who you think you are to go. And you're ready. You're ready for death. And yes, that also means you're ready to die physically. That
Mm.
also means that you're ready to lie down when it's time and go.
And shed
Because
your shell.
that's right, because that's all it is. Like, this
Mm,
is just an experience we're having, and we can move into the void with grace and dignity, right? Here, dignified as a king. Like, we can
mm.
step into that, not as a martyr, not as someone who's going, oh, well, let me just like roll up and die. No, no, no.
Go forward proud. Yeah.
Yes. How beautiful.
Mm,
Without clinging.
yeah. That's the
Oh,
sort of death I want, love.
yes.
Come
Every
on,
day.
I did great. It was wonderful. Let's see what's out there.
That's
Let's
right.
go back to the source. It's great. Thank you so much, Martin John.
It's so beautiful to be back in touch.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
you.
Love you loads. You know
Mm.
this.
Yes, love you as well. Okay, we have Energy Lady, Graciela, Bella. Oh, Bella, we got to talk about when we're gonna do the interview, and then Ryan. So, if everybody, I do know where you're at in line. If you have to step away, I will keep your spot in line, of course. If you come back on, Energy Lady, it's been some time. How are you, my love?
Oh my gosh, how are you? Your energy feels so amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I feel like it's calmer than it was before. I feel
That was the exact word that came to me when I saw you on, and I just went, "Oh." I just clicked I wanted to join just to say hi. But
yeah.
I went, "I don't have a number yet, but that's okay. I'll come up with one." And I just sat there and just went, "Hmm, wow, calm." That's all I
Yeah.
found.
Yeah.
So I'm real.
There's
And like I said to you, I'm really happy for you, and not like woo happy. No,
no,
it's
yeah.
an energy of love, happiness for you.
Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. I there was a time, and when I get into everything we'll talk about, but there was a time that in the dark retreat that I felt I couldn't connect with anybody. I connect so openly and so readily. Like
Mhm.
I was reaching, and I was like, no, I there's just like
No,
there's something
you
about this.
had to detach. You had to
Yeah.
completely let every essence of what you knew gone.
Yeah, yeah, and it was, I was stripped. I would say
Yeah.
during that retreat, I was stripped of a lot of my, energetic sort
Okay.
of like ability, like even like energetic healing and Reiki and other things like that. Like I was like, wow, this is I feel more like I'm going through the motions in here than I am actually connecting. And I was like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But
Mm-mm.
like hell, if I got to just pass time, I can do that by going through the motions at least while I experience this. And so I'm even as I'm doing this Tao of the Day today, like it's such a like the energy is so palpable. So it's beautiful to be back here and to be doing this again. I wasn't even sure like when I went in if I'd be doing this today, but here I am Monday ready to go, like, and loving
Right.
it. Like I love the Tao and I love you guys and I love being able to be here. So
Yeah, and you just described something that and I'll get into my number in a second.
yeah.
That really is something that I've needed to learn and continue to learn, which is labels, as you know, labels of friendships or people, or like you said, the Reiki or da, da, da. We're taught that it's something, and you and I
Mhm.
both know that it's not, but our head keeps saying it is. So I think that's what you just described.
was that you were disengaging from the labels, not from the modalities of it.
Yeah.
And so now you're coming into balance, and you know this, it's still the process.
Hmm.
You're coming into the balance of what's real, and that's all you want now. I can
Right.
feel that. That's all you want is, wow, I didn't even realize I was attached to that.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
but damn, what do I do without it? You know?
Right. Yeah. And that's and there was so much. I mean, moving and I'll get into all this in the
Yeah,
coming
yeah, yeah,
days,
exactly.
whatever. But moving into the darkness really said like really showed me that there like in like I learned a lot. I learned a lot,
Oh,
and
no
it's gonna
doubt.
all
There's no way you
continue.
couldn't. There's
Yeah. There's yeah.
I could sit, hey, I could sit in my home today and take 6 days off
Yeah.
and not do anything, and I'd still learn a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you going into where you did, I,
Yeah.
you can't even describe what you learned. It's
Right.
fabulous. It's
And
fabulous.
that's why I'm excited about talking about what happened, and then like, well, that's what is. Outside
What
of that, I have
and
no idea.
it'll be what happens in the memory you have in that moment, and then other things will come up. You know all
That's
this.
right. That's right.
You know
Yep.
this. I mean, you love the process, so you and I really have that in common. There's no end
Yeah.
to a process. So anyway, we will talk definitely.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave it as it is because I want to see what comes out. I
Yes.
really do. Because I could pick and I don't want to. So mine is 41.
Wow. I was just looking at that when you said that.
Of course.
When a superior man hears of the Tao, he immediately begins to embody it. When an
Mm.
average man hears of the Tao, he half believes it and half doubts it. When a foolish man hears of the Tao, he laughs out loud. If he didn't laugh, well, it wouldn't be the Tao. Thus it is said, the path into the light seems dark. The path forward seems to go back. The direct path seems long. True power seems weak. True purity seems tarnished. True steadfastness seems changeable. True clarity seems obscure. The greatest art seems unsophisticated. The greatest love seems indifferent. The greatest wisdom seems childish. The Tao is nowhere to be found, yet it nourishes and completes all things.
All right. If we hadn't had that discussion, that short little discussion prior, this
Hmm.
would not be the most awesome 41 ever. Because we could have had this discussion after and we would have gone, okay, that's how it went. But
Yeah,
that just showed us what the Tao is.
yeah.
And that was awesome. And I know it has thing in there that we didn't, but wow, the parameter of that, you kept giggling because we just said that, we just said that, we
Right,
just said
yeah.
that. That's fab. But like I said, that's the beauty of the Tao. And when I'm in, and I'm going to say this kindly without bigness, when I'm in the presence of somebody who is connected with the fun and joy that I have with it,
Mm,
it's a flowing funness, because this is how I learned who I was to be it and then read it, and we
right.
just did it. People
Yeah,
always think that you have this, but you learned it from this. No, 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 no. I found me, and the book came to me. No, I found me, and the process was told that that's what I do. You know what I mean?
right.
So this is how I flow, and you and I just played in how I flow, and
Hmm.
it's bringing out. Whew. Anyway, let's keep playing. I'm just
Yeah.
excited and I want to say I'm excited because I think this retreat for you brought me closer to you.
Oh, well.
So let's keep going.
And I think the retreat
Heart wise, just so you know.
brought me closer to me, and so then all my relationships get to be closer.
Right. No, what I'm just saying is my connection of heart got closer to you.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. The Tao, so I'm gonna look at this. I like to do the end and the beginning and see how we can
Go for it.
connect
You
these
you
things.
go
And
you go in the flow that pulls you because I'm in. Go.
so we have at the end here, the Tao is nowhere to be found, yet it nourishes and completes all things. That's how we end. So that's the direction that we're gonna face. We're gonna
Yeah.
face to this direction of the Tao nourishes and completes all things. When we start this, we talk about these three different kinds of people: the superior man, the average man, and the foolish man, right? Like, so we say the superior man hears of the Tao, hears of this thing that nourishes and completes all things, and he immediately begins to embody it. When the average man hears of the Tao, he half believes it, half doubts it. So when the average man hears of this thing that is nowhere to be found, yet nourishes and completes all things, he half believes it and half doubts it. And I
Okay,
think
and
there's a
can you share with me real quick what
yeah.
superior means in this format?
Um, I really think it's not a way of seeing somebody, but it's like if
Master,
you
is it the same as master?
yeah, it's like
Okay, okay, no, that's fine. I
if you can embrace the Tao, if you can immediately begin to embody the Tao, that means you are superior in your ability to connect.
I
Yeah.
totally see it. It's what I
Yeah.
understand. So that's I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure because my head was going, no, it means you're better than, and I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Right.
So I
No,
needed
it
to
doesn't
pull that
matter.
out. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And when a foolish man hears the Tao, once again, this doesn't mean like the person on the street that's like being foolish or like in the eyes of the economy is foolish or anything like that, but it's like when a foolish man hears it now, he laughs out loud.
Hmm.
And if he didn't laugh, it wouldn't be the Tao, it wouldn't be the thing that is nowhere to be found and yet nourishes and completes all things.
Right, and generally, that means that it's a little scary to that person, which is fine. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
with the word foolish, just with the word foolish, and
Right.
I understand that. So yeah, let's keep going.
It's interesting, this idea of foolish, because like we then go into that really kind of lengthy, if it's in order to move into positive, you have to go through negative, right? There's just like, essentially that's what everything was saying, all of those just like 10 lines or whatever. Into the path of light seems dark and the forward seems to go back, all of those sorts of things. When you look at the foolish man, is just like, oh, well, I'm looking at this path and it goes straight, so that's the direction I must go. Whereas the superior man, who immediately begins to embody the Tao, is going to take the path that that seems dark.
Hmm.
It's not going to be the one that appears dark. Like the foolish man is going to be like, oh, this is the light path, let's take this one. But they don't know that that light path isn't the true path. It's the one, like all the people out there that are like, um, oh, the best and only way to get a good job is to go through this system and go through this way that everybody else has gone, because that's the one that seems the clearest.
Yep, there's no intuition in it. Absolutely.
Right. They've
Mhm.
removed themselves
Right,
from the equation.
right.
And so yeah, so if he didn't laugh, it wouldn't be the Tao. Like if you were to tell like a foolish man under this pretense, right? Like the person who is, if you would be like, hey, if you just stop doing, you're gonna get more done. And they'd laugh out loud, right? The average man would be like, yeah, I guess I can see like how giving myself some time and trusting my intuition would give me some insight. But if I don't do something, I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything, right? Like they keep going back and forth, the average man.
Right.
The superior man goes, oh, I get it. If I
Hmm.
can just step back, the truth will reveal itself. And that's what this last line really kind of addresses. The Tao is nowhere to be found. You can't prove it's there, yet it nourishes and completes all things. And so that's how the beginning and end here really connect. It's like you can't prove that it's there, but you can live it.
True. It's kind of how I live. And
Yeah.
then when things come up, that's when I get to choose to be foolish and laugh at it so I can get to that point of the superior place.
Yeah.
Or I can go back and be the average, and sometimes I want to see what's here.
Right.
So it goes back and forth. So all three of those, from what I'm hearing with this description, is all of them matter.
Or all of them are big parts of growth.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's so important to make sure that we recognize. I mean, we were talking, I believe, with, I don't know if it was Julie or Lois, but we were talking about the idea that like knowing what you don't know. I think it was Lois. Like if you don't know that you have all of these three people within you,
Hmm.
then you're sick. You have to know that there is a foolish man within you that doesn't believe this. and that laughs at it. And when you do that, then you can be aware that he exists, so you can point him out, and then you can move that part of you. You can coax that part of you into being average and half believing and half not believing. And it's okay. And then
Okay.
continue to grow.
And I'm going to tell you right now, with that description being broader, and I love it, it's almost brings me to tears because you just described how I love to live on an emotional basis, in the process basis,
Mm-hmm.
and have been told it's so inappropriate, and I've been attacked. And this weekend I did get attacked by a friend.
Mm.
So emotionally. Um, so what this has just done for me is said, you really are in a great place. Don't
Yeah.
change. And that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, because just with that last description, building up to that last description,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a sense of peace. It's more of wow. And it's
Yeah.
a beautiful wow. It's not a surprise wow.
Right.
It's wanting, if I talk too much about it, I'd be choked up and crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, we don't have to get excited about
No.
things. We can approach them and be like, wow, let's just observe that. Like, people love to get excited about their insights and stuff. They're like, no, 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 no. That's an insight. Sit with it. If it excites you, then you have to kind of question it. If it excites you to the point that you're like, oh my God, I gotta go, da, da, da. I gotta tell everybody. Just like, I mean, I mentioned this quote. I think it was with Allison this morning. Like, if you think you can help other people, you're wrong. There are no
Mhm.
other people, right? Like, so
And
so like that insight is for you.
this is beautiful, and I'm going to say this really quick, is my whole thing is about teaching the teachings of connectivity and playfulness. And what that means is I'm connecting the dots to the wholeness of life. And what that means is that putting things together so that they are perfectly imperfect in the absolute best way, so we can be the happiest people on the planet.
Yes.
That's it.
And you just dropped off. If you wanted to step back on, I'll let you come on and land that plane really quick. We do have quite a few people in line, and I want to just go through who's in line so everybody knows. If you want to step out, you will be able to come back in and hold your space. Energy Lady one.
You know what? I'm not going to take time up, because the only thing that got cut off is telling you that I love you and appreciate you. And I'm
Oh.
so glad that you are you. That's it. So go enjoy the rest of the people. I will be listening, and know this, where you're at is where I've been for a while. And I, funny enough, didn't realize it was perfect for me. So thank
Yeah.
you. Enjoy
Oh,
your day. Enjoy your
thank-
time. We'll be chatting. Have fun.
all right. Well, we're gonna bring up Graciela, and then so we have like 7 people in line. So yeah, we're after Graciela. I'll go through where everybody is at, and then we'll. Oh, Graciela,
I'm
thank
so
you.
happy you're here, Martin
Oh, it's so
John.
good to be back. It's so good to be back, and like my dopamine senses are crazy right now. I
I
get so much love, but
know.
but it's so wonderful to be doing. Like, I'm great. I'm so glad that I got back into town yesterday, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna wait a couple days, but I really love the Tao, and I really love doing this, and it's not just addictive. It's something that I like to
Mhm,
share, and it's something
mhm.
that I'm not trying to like I had to contemplate, like, am I trying to help? And I was like, not really. I'm just here trying to kind of share and enjoy some things
It's
with people.
okay. You know
Yeah,
what? I totally get it. I totally get it because you and I need to talk in private and it's for selfish reasons. So
totally.
I totally understand. I'm so excited to find out more and oh my gosh, let me tell you how much I've missed you. This morning, I was on Twitter Spaces, very important conversation about self-branding and authenticity. And as I am multitasking, I'm picking like my rings for the day. I collect antique and vintage jewelry. So
I have
in
seen
the
a lot of your
morning,
rings, and they are
yes.
gorgeous.
And so in the morning, I pick what I'm going to wear for the day. And this amethyst and green peridot screamed at me. I haven't worn it in over a year.
Mm,
And after I put it on, I get called into wisdom and I come in and my ring looks exactly like your profile picture.
Mm.
It's the same green and the same purple. And so here I am, Martin John. You called me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Oh man, yeah.
I know. I
Man,
feel it in my arms. I have goosebumps.
Like all of my guests thus far, and just being on
Right.
here has been palpable this morning. So I'm
Good.
so grateful to be here.
Yes.
So
So have we already done 44?
I mean, a while ago, not today. So we will do
Oh,
44 with you.
yes, 44. Yay,
Well,
it's April 4th. We have to
it
do
is eight.
44.
Oh man, like
And then
you are always.
22 adds to 4. So today 444 angel number, it's so important. It's about being on the right path and about knowing
Oh,
that you are
and right now it is
loved.
11:11 here where I am.
Yes. Yes.
So
So
that's another 4. So all of the
yay.
4s, people, all of the 4s.
All of the 4s aligning for me and for Martin John.
Okay, so fame or integrity, which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more invaluable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never be truly fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have and rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
My goodness, there is nothing lacking. This exact same thing I was just putting in a package for a client because they receive packages from me. And
Mm.
so, what a beautiful gift to receive that back today. And then let me tell you that very first line. Do you want to know why it made me laugh so hard?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So, so the shaman, Dr. Wiseman here, Mark Wiseman, the shaman from Alaska.
Okay, I don't, but
He Oh, you haven't spoken with him? Oh my
no.
gosh, he is amazing. He's so wise and talks about hope and chakras and all of these spiritual stuff. And so he's a shaman in Alaska and he shows up here. He's a top mentor. And he invited me to speak in his podcast, which I thought was a great honor. And then right before he's about to record, he wanted to talk about hope, right? And the hope series that I created and whatnot. And so I was very, very grateful and very honored. And right before he's going to start recording, he says, "Let's go ahead and record this so you can be famous." And I was like, wait a minute, don't record yet. I just want to be clear that's not why I'm here. I just want to talk about hope. Anything else, it's just not really my intention and not necessarily called for. And he was like, "Oh, well, I love that even better." And I don't remember what else he said, but it's like that very first line resonates with me the most, I feel like, because of that conversation just last week. And the podcast interview has been released, and it was such an epic conversation. I mean, a shaman wanted to talk to me. What? I'm gonna ring my bell for that one.
Absolutely. As you
Yes.
should. Um
Thank you
okay,
so much,
so
Martin John. Go ahead.
when as I'm looking at this, like just like I did with Energy Lady, I like to look at the last line in the first group of lines, right? Because the first group of lines is this, like, these dichotomies, right? Fame or integrity,
Right.
which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? Okay, so we can embody that really quick, and then we look at this last line, which, when you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fame
I
or
mean,
integrity? When we look at wanting to have go ahead. I want to hear what you have to
oh,
say.
no, I'm listening.
Fame or integrity, money or happiness, success or failure? When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. When you think of fame, like, the immediate thing is like, that is there's something lacking when you don't have fame, or there's something lacking when you don't have money, or there's something lacking when you don't have success. But when you realize there's nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
Yeah, it brings me back to a lesson my dad taught me when I was very young. Well, actually, I don't remember how young I was, but it stuck to me. And it's about how rich is not the person that has the most, but how rich is the person that doesn't need anything. They have what they need.
That's right.
And so it can be very little, but if it fills all your needs, then you're already prosperous, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yes. And so I've always understood this concept, and it's been an interesting journey towards the what they call now the money mindset, because I've always been kind of like the minimalist. Really, the only thing I care to have in abundance is jewelry, which, they fit in a small box.
Right.
and and records, because, what can I say? I have my own dad playing in some of these records, and I play
Hmm.
them and I know that he's there, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, yes. And so we have a few hundreds of records and in a
Wow.
small house. Yeah. And so, and then plants. That's really all I care about, about having a lot of. And so
Yeah.
it's been interesting to transition into the entrepreneurial mindset, and teaching myself these other things that of course are valuable, right? I mean, as a coach and as a moderator for a nonprofit, the more money that I make, the more people I can help, right? And
Hmm.
so it's been interesting to see how I have matured into, I don't want to say scarcity mindset as growing up, but I really just appreciated what I had. That lesson really stuck to me.
Yeah.
And even though I was always propelled to work so hard, like I've had a job since I was 14, I I'm not that big of a saver. Like I just spend it, donate. What do you need? What needs to happen? What do we need to do? Like what needs to be gotten? I'll go get it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now I'm rambling about how I handle my money, but yes. I get
Well, I think, like I think there's something to that, because money or happiness, which is more valuable. And the thing is as you talk about this, like there is processing happening about your happiness. There's
Yes.
processing going on right now, and you realizing that happiness is in your life, and
Right.
it has been in your life, and you helping others and doing that which you do is part of your happiness, and being able to earn from that as well also kind of gives you a sense of the ability to continue doing it, rather than it being
Right.
un you know like a hungry ghost, something that you shovel coal into but doesn't ever build
Correct.
steam.
Yes, yes. And let me tell you, I was also just, this brings me back to a conversation I had on Twitter as well, because when it comes to me and the women and the men that I connect with as survivors of narcissistic abuse and domestic violence, I feel like the way that other influencers are out there like fighting for pay equality, right, for men and women and all other genders, we want everyone to get paid the same, so on and so forth. I feel like our fight is more about safety. Like, let's start with safety. Let's start with loving home environment for all, and then work towards whatever comes next, because we didn't have that safety. Me and my own tribe, me and my people, we didn't grow in an environment that was safe or loving or whatnot, right? And then, relationships, that's a whole nother layer of that big, big, tall cake, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, safety and happiness for sure. Like that's the number one thing. And sometimes I still have to pinch myself that I am in a safe home, that I am in an environment that things are flourishing, and my son is so happy and so safe, because I don't know, because that wasn't my history. And so sometimes it's like, do I need to poke the bear to see if he attacks? Because I just don't believe it sometimes. But it is
Yeah.
such a blessing. Um, and my husband really works so hard. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to hang out here with you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm grateful for the support that I have, so I can hang out here and do this. And it also kind of, leads me to want to say that, like, if you guys are benefiting from the work that I do, check out my profile and consider donating a little money through, or giving me a little tip through Venmo. I do have my Venmo stuff at @MartinJohn_Garcia. So I just wanted to kind of say that because, brother can use a little money all the time. Like, it's all right. Like, some of you have that
Yes.
ability, and if you do, please contribute. But and that's
So,
where this going.
oh, well, I wanted to ask you because I see that you don't have any website on your profile yet.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that was a thing yet.
yeah, so you may need to re-download the app so that you have the latest version, and then you can
Oh yeah.
definitely add like your full link tree with your Venmo link because I was just about to ask you what your Venmo is.
Yeah. Venmo is at @MartinJohn_Garcia. But
Awesome.
yeah, I was considering that but I turned on my iPad first this morning when I went to come on, and it didn't ask for a new download. So and I saw that the logo was new and stuff, but that was it. So I'll definitely update my profile this afternoon. So thank you so much for telling me that.
Yes, you're
Um,
welcome. And so I'm
so
going to
yeah.
go ahead and concede my time. Thank you so much, Martin
Okay.
John. We have lots to catch up on. And
Yes, and
I
we
would really love your insight on that meditation that I hosted as the sun was setting for you in Guatemala.
I will. I haven't listened to it yet, but I will. But I know it is definitely on my things
Yes,
to do. So
you
I
know it is
appreciate you.
there.
I
All right.
appreciate you putting it out there for me. Love
Have
you,
a
dear.
great day. Bye.
Okay, so Bella was next, and Bella stepped out. So if she comes back, she will take the spot. Ryan has been patiently waiting, and we're going to pull Ryan on. And then Rachel was next, but she stepped out. And then Dr. Rao. So Ryan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. I was listening to your conversations. Extraordinary mind that you have. An
Oh,
extraordinary.
oh, well, thank you so much. That's
You have
nice
an
to hear.
well, it's extraordinary mind because I don't hear the sort of the beautiful spiritual narrative that you speak. You speak it because you're doing it, and it's just beautiful to hear another human being, you know, being so considered and open and reflective of the world in which we live.
Oh, well, look at that, Ryan. How are you? Good morning to you. It sounds like you're in England. Is it good
I'm in
afternoon?
London, yes. I'm in
Yes,
London.
good
It's
afternoon
evening.
then.
Yeah, it's
Yes, good
just going
evening.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, so beautiful, just extraordinary. And I was listening to lots of the your views and or ideas or concepts or they're just all really wonderful. And I think one of the things that I can perhaps share here is that through pain, that real trauma, real pain, because there's things that I've experienced in my life that have opened me up to understand the grandeur of the world. I've learned a lot of things that have opened me up to things that I thought could never happen. Um, and I've seen and connected to spirit in ways that I thought I could never connect with spirit in the way that I have.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we just get very very busy and distracted. Um, and yeah, this is where I'm at.
Oh,
Um,
do you
really.
like so in London? I know a guy, Paul Pedmore, who hosts.
Mm,
He's on here on Wisdom as well, and he hosts
mm,
the My Perfect Failure podcast.
right.
Um, do you know
Hmm,
it?
no.
No, he and I do a talk just about this idea of so I host the Recover Yourself podcast. I got 21 years clean and sober, and a large
Well,
aspect of what I talk about is like growth to, right? Recovering to
yeah,
something. And then
yeah.
he talks about, like growth through failure, like you're saying, growth
Mm,
through pain or through,
mm,
struggle and stuff. And so we get
mm-hmm.
together and we do an hour talk, and then,
Love
I
it.
open it up for other people as well. But that's someone that I would, if you reach out to me on Instagram, I would love to put you guys together because I think you're both in London. So that would
Lovely.
be just a beautiful connection to make.
Yes. Thank
So
you.
this is I believe your first time on Tao of the Day.
It is. It is the
Okay,
first
so
time, and it's my. I've been on this on this platform for a week. I think a week
oh,
and a bit.
okay. So
Week and a bit.
so 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 you'll hear of and you'll see Tao of the Day around this time, maybe a little earlier,
Right.
every day, Monday through
Yep.
Friday.
Yep.
And what I do is I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 81, and then we read from the Tao Te Ching, that
Right.
chapter.
Right.
And so if you have a number between 1 and 81, we'll kick this off.
7.
7. All right. So 7 says, the Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desire for itself, thus it can be present for all beings. The master stays behind, that is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things, that's why she is at one with them. Because she has
Mm.
let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. So what are some of your initial thoughts?
That speaks to me.
Yes, always does.
I'm
Always
over
does.
it. It talks about my resurrection.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, it speaks of my resurrection, and a sense of wanting to always please others, um, and allowing myself to just be and disconnect,
Yeah.
and and to be absolutely satisfied with myself, and doing the inner work, the shadow work, um, to enable me to see clearly, without the false lenses of society's, you know,
So in speak,
ideas and forces upon me. Yeah.
yeah, in speaking with you about this verse specifically, like I have
Mm.
this, there's this vibration between the first part and the second part, right? The first part is
Mm-hmm.
talking about the Tao, right? The Tao, and the
Mm.
Tao exists within us, right? So the Tao
Mm-hmm.
exists within you, and the Tao is
Mm.
infinite and eternal. It was never born, it can never
Mm.
die. Why is
Mm-hmm.
it infinite? It has no desire for itself, thus it can be
Mm.
present for all beings. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
so it can be present for you however you want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Before, you were able to use it to try and please others, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
you were able to turn from it, and you were able
Yep.
to do all that. But then the second part talks about you as the master, like you as the person you're becoming.
Mm-hmm.
The master stays behind, that is why she is ahead. She is
Mm-hmm.
detached from all things, that is why she is at one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is
Mm-hmm.
perfectly fulfilled. This is, the master is one who has been able to embody the Tao. And that Tao
Beautiful.
is this thing that has no desire for itself. It's not
Mm.
trying to take credit, it's not trying to be
No.
something within your life. It is just being within your life.
100,000%.
Mm.
100,000%. I've been very much distant and separate in many ways and I know that it's just the right thing to do. It's to, to do the things that serve man, to serve the world and serve community. I'm very much community oriented, to serving 10 million men to break free from anxiety. That's my life goal,
Mm-hmm.
um, through the things that I've been gifted, and serenity is something that I have always understood through great times of being alone in solitary, not in confinement, but certainly just in a solitary state. Um, and I'm just very much wanting to see just the fruit of change and transformation among men, and there's such a level of disconnect among men in so many ways, um, through societal frameworks and hierarchy, but I can begin to see change, and I can start seeing it, and it's just beautiful how the universe begins to sort of pour in this enormous amount of insight, because the knowledge is already within us, right?
Right.
But we just didn't see it, and I, through whatever the circumstance, but certainly, um, serenity and peace, and enjoyment of simple things is so enriching, um, really enriching. Um,
Yeah.
Tell me how this lands for you. The master stays behind. That is why she is ahead, or he is ahead, whatever. Like
Hmm.
the Tao translates like the pronouns
Hmm.
in this specific translation. That
Hmm.
the translator Stephen Mitchell utilizes he and she interchangeably. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not always she, but because there is no gender in the traditional translation,
Yeah.
he Stephen Mitchell utilized him, so we can say he or she or whatever. But here it says the master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. And I would love to just, how does that read to you? How does that feel?
The master stays behind. That reads to me being the observer of others, being the observer to watch the beauty that stands beyond me, through me, and beyond me. Because I'm an observer.
Uh
I like
huh.
to observe what's going on around me to understand and to almost observe how humanity works. Because there's so many times when I have never been the observer in my previous earlier years, but certainly being the observer, there's such a power that increases, and there's such a certain level of knowledge that comes with that. And the more that I do it, the more I observe, the more I gain. But it's not, it's brilliance. It's light, and I would say that that is what I would sort of resonate with what you've just said, because I've increased in such a way my personality, and even my friends and family who've noticed, they've said that something's very, very different about you.
Mm-hmm.
You're very quiet and peaceful. You don't say a lot as you used to, and when you do say something, it resonates. Um, and no, and yeah, that's kind of how I would see it. Being
That's
put on the
beautiful.
being put on the spot by Mr. Martin John Garcia.
It's so beautiful to be an observer, right? To just like you, because when you're observing, you're not trying to inject yourself. You
Yep.
just step back and you get
Hmm.
that 10,000 foot view, and you can just be present, right? This next
Exactly.
line is she is detached from all things. That is why she
Oh
is at one with them.
yes. Yes, we're vibrational beings. Our connections are on a vibrational level, and I've purposely disconnected in the physical way. I've not spent so much time around people that are careful, not because I don't want to, but because I want to spend time with my energy and
Yeah.
be able to understand people better, not just by what they say or how they act, but the energy that I feel. And the more that I do it, I understand what I'm walking into, and what the environment is like energy wise, whether it's very, very active or whether it's on a very low vibration. I begin to sense it very quickly, very quickly. And that's a certain another level of knowing, I would say.
Hmm. Because she has let go of herself, she is
Uh-huh.
perfectly fulfilled.
Yes. I'm very happy on my own.
Right?
I am. I like being on my own. For some people, it might sound like, really? Do you like being on your own? No, absolutely. I enjoy. Of course, I work in media, and I have my own podcast, and I've worked BBC and all those channels and so on. But it's. I just love spending time with self and being able to connect with the source.
Hmm. And that's also like when we read here, like because she has let go of herself, that's like that identity,
Mm.
that like concrete identity that you hold on
Mm.
to,
Yeah.
right? Like when you can let go of, the Ryan that is like BBC Ryan, right? Like when you can
Mhm.
let go of all of that and just be who you are perfectly fulfilled. And then when you present yourself, or when you find yourself presented with a
Mm.
situation in which you are,
Yeah.
you know, able to be an observer, you can
Mm.
once again approach that by being detached in
Yes.
order to be connected to.
Yes. Very much so. Well, yes. Gosh, that's what I've been doing for pretty much the whole of this, we've got started this year,
Yeah.
is but there is a oneness in the detachment. Um, and there's nothing there are all there's earthly things I'd like and wish for,
No,
but
yeah, we don't have to. Yeah.
but certainly there's there's no effort. It's not like a huge effort. Things have become effortless.
Right. And
Uh,
we read in one of these today, I forget who it was, but we read the line that was like, when you realize there is nothing lacking, you are perfectly fulfilled.
100,000%.
Yeah.
Because it's
And
it well
go on.
there's no such thing as to lack. It's a human ideology that we need. You know, we're vibrational beings. Everything is available to us. We just need to be open to receive it. And also, if we have areas within ourselves that we've yet to deal with, then our vibrational levels are affected by that. And therefore, what we want and what we wish to have doesn't come through as easily. But we have everything available, and certainly the scarcity mindset, or all those sorts of things. I just think, the more that you become spirit and less human, the wiser we become, and things become even easier to receive.
Yeah, I would like, just like, words are tough. I would warn against this idea of being more of one than the other, but being
Yeah.
becoming more aware of your spirit, because we have been so overly aware of the body for the
Hmm.
last millennia.
Yes,
Like, and
absolutely.
that's really it. It's just about awareness. It's not about actually being, because you can't be more spirit. You are
Yeah,
100% spirit, and you're 100% body. Now be aware of that connection.
absolutely. Yeah.
Ryan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. I look forward to continuing to connect with you. Once again, you will not lose your space in line. Rachel was here. Bella is back, and so she's coming on. And then Dr. Rao, unless Rachel comes back before Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao, you've been patient. I love you, man. I hope you're going to be around. Bella, my dear.
Hi, Martin. How are you?
I am doing beautifully. How are you, my love?
Very well. Good to see you. Let's chat about the interview. Um, Weekend would be best. I'm sure people on Wisdom would love to hear your experiences.
Yes, I would love to schedule that and make all that happen. I was going to reach out to you today on Instagram to start that conversation. So
Okay. Well,
we'll
I agree with the energy lady. You sound very calm. You were calm before, but you sound even calmer.
Oh, well, I'm glad that I'm glad that it's ringing and translating through, because it was a great experience, and I'm looking, like this whole time I've been very excited to talk to you. And the first couple days I was sitting in those spaces thinking, I think this might be a waste of time. And I was thinking, oh, I got to tell Bella that this isn't going to be a good thing. But that changed on day 3, as I spoke with Lois about. So really appreciate it.
I was doing my walk, and I sent a prayer up,
Mm,
because it was actually in the first few days. So and I sent a prayer up, that you will get the benefit from the experience
yeah.
of it, and it seems you have. And
Mhm.
I notice also that your Tao conversations are much more succinct and to the point.
Oh, well, thank you. I, you
Yeah,
know, it's, I just show up. We just,
yeah.
I'm really
Such
glad.
bravery, such bravery.
Mm, well,
Yeah.
thank you.
I mean, I don't do the Tao,
I
and
do, yeah. You and
so
Dr. Rao are the two that get the free lunch.
it's not because we both go to medical school, is it? Because that would not do.
No, 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 no. Because our conversations without the Tao are just as profound. So
Yeah. So, I mean, just share with me, what was it like not having your dark senses? Well, having been in the dark.
yeah. it's interesting. Like just on a real brief sort of thing is
Hmm.
after a time, you don't even realize you don't see.
Yes.
You can't even like I would have to remind myself that my eyes are open and I'm
Yeah.
not seeing anything. Like I would because sure my eyes would play tricks on me, and we can talk about that in terms of like, oh, I think I see something but I don't. But then
Hmm.
I'd be literally staring off into space and not recognizing that there's nothing there,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because there is plenty there, and the
Yes.
thing that's there is me.
Exactly. Exactly. Because some time ago, I was trying to explain sight,
Yeah.
because you see something, an object, it goes to your brain. The image is inverted. It goes to your brain,
Yeah.
and your brain makes sense of it depending on your experiences.
Right.
And then we say, this looks like that.
Right.
And now there is nothing.
Yeah.
So what does your brain do? But we'll talk about that.
One
You
of the interesting things is, as I was laying in bed, I
hmm
saw the ceiling of my room here in Illinois.
hmm
Um, like I saw the ceiling fan, like I could see it. Like I was like, my body, my brain is predicting, because I'm laying in bed, that it will see my ceiling, and so it is creating it for me.
Exactly, exactly. Not creating it, but it's already there.
Right. Yeah. Like it is saying, well, this is what I predict will be there. So no matter how
Exactly.
dark it is, I will create it for you because that's what must be there.
Yes, this is what I often why I'm really interested in epigenetics is because without seeing anything, you lie on the bed. Your brain says, of course, I'm saying it very linearly and
Yeah.
simply. Your brain says you're lying on your bed. What needs to be around you when you're lying on your bed? What
Mm-hmm.
is the most important thing? So perhaps when, I don't know what your bedtime routine is, but perhaps when you lie on your bed, you look up at the ceiling.
Yeah.
So that's important. So Martin John is lying on the bed. Let's give him a ceiling.
Right.
And as the day goes on and you reinforce the brain that there's no ceiling, other aspects will come up.
Mm-hmm.
And that we can discuss, because I'm really, really interested in, and I'm definitely going to do more reading before we meet, because it's very, very interesting what happens. I mean, in life, when things are wrong, we call them triggers,
Yeah.
because uh, just before the weekend, I had a trigger from the past. And what happens when you have a trigger is that, oh, this trigger makes me exhausted. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been feeling exhausted because it reminds me how I felt. Whereas I didn't do it. Whereas if I
Right.
just gone out today, I would not be exhausted. Can you
Right.
see what I mean?
Yes, of
But
course.
because it triggered, and I know that that experience left me exhausted. So that is something to work on,
Mm-hmm.
to give the brain a new message that that those triggers will come. They may not come today, tomorrow, but they will come. But elevate my mood and see it in another way. In a way in which it's very funny because I'm hiccuping, and that's interesting because I couldn't speak when I had the trigger. I found it very difficult to
Yeah.
have conversation, and as I was saying that, the hiccups come. So our thoughts are very, very powerful things. What we attach ourselves to is very, very powerful thing, and I hope I'm not going off the point, but it's all about attachment, isn't it?
Well, I've been I went through Being You, which is a book that I forget who wrote it offhand,
Mhm.
but we were talking. It's talking about consciousness and entropy, and how when we, in order to not fall to entropy, we have to kind of be able to predict our surroundings, and be able to predict, because if we're not, we'll fall. We can, like, there has to be a predictable sort of experience. Like, there has to be oxygen around, so we will continue to be able to fight entropy, and all of these sorts of things. And it was really interesting. And as you express this, it's like, oh, the ceiling fan helps my, like, helps the system of
Mm-hmm,
my body underneath everything fight entropy, because there's something predictable about
mm-hmm,
my experience. And so when there was only darkness, well, that could very well overtake me if
mm-hmm.
there isn't some sort of ability to fight that entropy.
It's very, very interesting, and this is a more uh, believing in the interconnectedness of things, because this afternoon in Christina's room, I was talking about entropy. And
Mm,
it's amazing how, just being on wisdom, things which were suppressed are coming up to the surface. And I was just saying the first law of thermodynamics is the conservation of energy.
yes.
That is, energy is neither created or destroyed. It just is. And earlier we were talking about being present. It just is. There's no need to do anything. It just is. And the second law of thermodynamics, which deals with entropy, says, I hope I paraphrased it rightly. It says that in an isolated system, in an isolated system, entropy um, become you get equilibrium. Of
Yeah.
the disorder, you get equilibrium, but actually entropy increases rather than decreases.
Mm.
So if we then talk about it in a spiritual sense, this is my perspective anyway, is that our fears, our lack of predictability, all of that increases when we are in an isolated system, which may be why when we're alone, the fear we have actually increases. And that predictability of the fan may have been there to decrease that. Um,
And that wasn't the only thing that came up. So, like I agree. Like, that is a protective
mhm,
sort of experience. Yeah, it's
mhm,
trying to make the experience less
mhm,
ungrounded. It's trying to express
mhm,
itself in a way that is deeply understood,
mhm.
in the system, so it's not literally in a void.
Exactly, to
Yeah,
show that you're not isolated in the protective aspect. It's so
yeah.
funny how when I speak with you, you know, we say exactly the same thing,
Hmm.
but I come from it from a theoretical pass your exam perspective. you know, and this is why I always loved speaking to you. And when you talk about the journey you've been on, you you don't mind me saying this, Martin? Please, don't, I'm saying it in the best of things. I'm just like, Martin, that's the journey. The essence of who you are is so insightful but I don't want to use the word intellectual because it's man-made. But of a higher order of thinking,
Yes, yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
that higher order of thinking pushes one, and I see that with your guest, to think deeper about things. And when you think deeper, perhaps you're connecting to the essence of who you are, not just connecting to your senses and the quick answers.
Yes, yes. It is, and I think it is, and I don't. I just love to be able to be me and have
Hmm.
that be seen. That is
Yes.
something that is, like, and have me be able to see me in each and every one of my guests, and everybody that gets to come through and share the Tao with me, and to share me and the things that have, like, have helped me. Maybe they can help them, and just connecting is something that I really appreciate being able to do here on Wisdom.
The way I see it, and perhaps this is egotistical, is that you're connecting with your essence, and that's what wisdom has done for me. In
Yeah.
the sense that things which I thought were suppressed and I couldn't remember, just talking to individuals has actually widened my scope, and um, they've offered so much insight and wisdom, uh, and shown me the connectedness of humankind. We're 1 minute 29. So, Martin, let me end with the quote, but please carry on talking,
Yeah.
because I have to find it, and it's on detachment, which I'd like to end with, because I think I'm feeling that this conversation's all about detachment and being present, just
Yeah.
being present.
And it's not, yeah, when we talk about detachment, I don't think you and I, and when you find it, just cut me off.
Yeah,
Um,
I got
I'll
it.
go.
Detachment is not that you own nothing. Detachment means that nothing owns you,
Mm,
and even the darkness.
yes. And that's what I was going to kind of like be like, this is what we kind of mean by that. Yes, it's like when we talk about detachment, we don't talk about like let go, let go, let go, and don't touch anything and don't be connected to anything. We're saying, no, those connections are there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push them away. Don't rely on them. Don't try and make them more important than they are. Like,
Brilliant.
be here with that, with you, with it now.
Yes, because you're connected. You are your essence, nothing else.
Yes.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yes.
Just
If you
this.
identify with attachment or detachment, then you're pushing in a direction.
Stay.
I'm sure she said stay blessed. She just got cut off. I love you, Bella. Thank you so much. Rachel came back, so we're going to hit up Rachel. Dr. Rouse stepped down, as did Emily. You guys, you're my best. You're my faves. Rachel, how are you?
Hi, good. It's good to see you. Good to hear you, rather.
Yeah, well, it's good to be seen and heard. It's been a while. I know we've chatted a couple times. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. My phone died earlier, so I guess it cut out for a second, but
Yeah. Well, I
I'm
had
glad
you
you're
I had
doing
you in
good.
line, so I think we're all set.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing good. I heard about kind of your adventure, and I was wondering where you was going and stuff, but as I've been listening, I've kind of figured it out a little bit, but
Yeah.
it sounds really neat. I mean, so you went and was in the dark completely.
Yeah, so I went down to Guatemala and I spent 6 days in the dark.
That is really neat. I
Yeah.
don't know how I would do that. I mean, at first, was it really hard to get used to the whole darkness?
Darkness is dark. Like, Bella and I are gonna do an interview at some point, probably over the weekend or something, and I'm gonna talk about that, and
I'll
there'll be a
keep an
lot.
eye on that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
this is, like, here I focus on the Dow, and so
right.
I'll take a number from you, and I only want to just
I
keep
understand.
things just, yeah, kind of clean, just
Okay.
because it's like I'm not even ready to process all of the stuff that happened in the dark, but there are
Right.
things, so.
It does sound exciting though, so I'll keep an eye out for. I don't know if you're gonna do it or if she is, but I'll just keep an eye and watch over the weekend and see what I see. So,
Yeah,
because
and
it
if you
does
if
sound
you
interesting.
yeah, if you like, I'm sure it'll get around. Like, I'll tell
Oh yeah,
people and they'll mention it on their talks and stuff. I'll ask people to make sure people know when it's happening, and what the title will be and stuff, so that you can,
cool.
try and find it, and who's gonna host it, whether it's gonna be myself or Bella or whatnot. So,
Okay, thank you.
absolutely. Do you have a number between 1 and 81 you want to share?
Have you did 12 today?
I did not.
12 is my number.
So let's do 12. Let's look at what we got with 12. Okay. Colors blind colors
That
blind the eye, Sounds deafen the ear, flavors numb the taste, and thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is as open as the sky. Initial thoughts?
We did this one last time.
See, there we go. Well, there's
So I
something
think
else
the
to
same
be
number.
there's something else to be learned here.
There is. I think after we got off, I really started thinking about what you had said, and so it was the overdoing it, and then I couldn't do my talk afterwards. I ended up doing one, but it made me so nervous, and then, so I've been overdoing it, continually, and that's when I picked the same number. I didn't know you'd be in the same book, so I should try to
Oh,
pick a different
yeah.
number, huh?
No, not at all. Let me look at another book really quick.
That's cool, thank you.
Well, it's not
I
another
really
book, it's
appreciate
just
your
another
talk.
translation.
Oh, okay.
Sight obscures, noise deafens. Desire messes with your heart, the world messes with your mind. The
That
master watches the world, but keeps focused on what's real.
hmm, that really resonates, and, especially with when you all were talking about your, you know, being in the dark,
Mhm.
and it kinda seems the same as the other one, but I like it. I'm not sure what to make of it. I think you're
Okay.
better at these things. You're like the professional.
Well, let's look at this. I know, like, you did your talk, and I did see you go on. I wasn't able to get on with you, but I wanted to. I saw, and I was really happy that you had gone on, just to get it behind you.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all. It's that's the first thing to do, is to just try and get it behind you. And I know you've done two talks, and now it's like it's about getting out of your head, and then just being able to, because the more talks you do, the easier it's going to become. And the like, and I don't know if you've deleted talks that you've done and other stuff like that, but
I had deleted a couple of the first ones 'cause I didn't even know they were being recorded, and some of the
they're
stuff
all
was
recorded.
funny.
Yeah,
But, yeah, but it's okay.
that's
I'm
all
just
right.
gonna not listen to them because I put too much into my own
That's
voice and,
right.
like,
No,
listening to
don't
that.
listen to them. Like, just
Right.
just make them and leave them there, and then just
Yeah,
like,
that's what everyone else says. I'm like, "I should have probably done that." So,
I think
yeah.
even when I journal, I journal every day, and I don't go back and read it. Actually, when I was journaling in the dark retreat, I had to write big, but I wrote.
Oh my gosh.
That was great to be able to go back and look at. So I have a timeline of how things went. Um,
Uh-huh.
so here we have, like, this is noise deafens, right? This is you listening to yourself on the thing.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's making you deaf to, like, you're listening to your voice, not listening to your message. It's making
Oh.
you deaf to the fact that what you have to say needs to be heard. And what you're hearing is the sound of your voice. Noise deafens. Sight obscures, noise deafens. So you're not even able to see all of the richness that you're offering, because you have decided somewhere in your mind that there's something wrong with your voice.
Wow, thank you.
Desire messes with your heart. That's the next line, right? Desire messes
Uh-huh.
with your heart. The world messes with your mind. As soon as you have a desire to sound right,
Uh-huh.
as soon as you have a desire to have the right message, or to do something, like, it
Mhm.
messes with your heart. Your heart starts to go, oh, I'm not attached, or I'm attached, or I'm this, or I'm that, or it's right, or it's wrong, or whatever. And then the
Mhm.
world messes with your mind. As soon as you're weak, in that
Mhm.
space of not trusting yourself, the world steps in and says, well, look at all of these famous people. Look at that Martin John. He's got followers, and he's talking, and he's able to do it really smooth, and he's all doing
Oh,
this and
no,
all of that. And
you're
then the
great.
world around you
Yeah.
messes with your mind.
It's the stuff around me, I think. It's definitely not the people in wisdom because you guys
No,
are
no, no.
great.
But I'm saying, you could
I
create
understand.
those stories.
Yeah. And I think it would be really helpful, like, what I wanna put out there is but it is really close to my heart, so it's something that I'm scared that I'll be in the middle of and, like, fall apart. That's what I think, the most afraid of.
Yeah, desire messes with your heart,
Mhm.
because it's so close to your heart, and, like, desiring an outcome.
Mhm.
Like, your heart doesn't care about the outcome. Your heart cares about doing it.
Right.
Say,
Definitely.
yeah. The master watches the world but keeps focused on what's real.
Hmm.
And what's real is, like, you're real. You're the only thing that you know for a fact is real.
Correct.
Everything else is just controlled hallucination.
Pretty much. Yeah. Does seem that way.
Yeah.
Does seem that way. So I should really think of it more like that. I appreciate you so much. And I
Oh,
love listening to
thank you.
everybody else's too. But
Oh,
I
I
really
appreciate it.
appreciate it. I
Well, I
really do.
appreciate you coming back on. This is my first time since the dark retreat, and
I'm glad
like I
you
said,
came back.
there's gonna be talks about the dark retreat and stuff, and I appreciate your interest.